Carole Souter and I'm the Chief Executive of the Heritage Lottery Fund. The Heritage Lottery Fund was set up in 1994 and we distribute money from the National Lottery, the Good Causes income for the heritage. So we fund projects right across the United Kingdom and we fund everything from natural environment schemes that support crested newts and red kites and butterflies and all sorts of things of that kind, through to landscapes, through to oral histories and projects of tradition and language, small projects that help people find out about their local area and create town trails, and then the great big iconic heritage projects. So we're working with English Heritage on the Stonehenge project, the British Museum, Kelvin Grove Museum in Glasgow, Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland, Swansea Museum in Wales, right across the piece. And I'd just like to say thank you to National Lottery players for everything they've done to help us contribute to the heritage in the UK. The Heritage Lottery Fund funds all kinds of heritage right across the UK, and we've had a range of projects where we've worked very closely with the Prince's Regeneration Trust. We share a lot of the same aims and objectives, particularly bringing historic buildings back into use for the community. And so we've particularly at the moment been working with the Prince's Regeneration Trust on the Middleport Pottery project, which is fantastic for us because it obviously continues the use of a historic building in its original intention, which is great. We're standing in the Hornman Gardens in Forest Hill, and it's a garden that's associated with the museum. It's something that's very close to my heart because we used to live very near here, and when my children were small we used to bring them to storytelling sessions in the conservatory. And the museum itself is an extraordinary place with an aquarium for the very young children, which they love. The very famous stuffed walrus, which is actually out and about on its travels at the moment. A wonderful museum collection of musical instruments, which are beautifully displayed now, and a very big commitment to environmentalism and sustainability, which we've been very happy to be associated with over the years. And the gardens themselves have recently been renovated with the help of the Heritage Lottery Fund grant, which builds on our previous grants to the museum. It's a place that's accessible to all parts of the community. I think that's really important. The gardens themselves are a place that everyone can use, and in the background today you'll probably see a whole range of family groups, grandparents out with their children, people walking with dogs, people sitting, just listening, reading the papers, looking around. And the museum has an incredible outreach programme that really brings in people with all sorts of different interests and backgrounds. There are activities for children, there are activities for families, formal learning activities obviously, and a whole range of arts-based activities as well that will excite a range of different people. So whatever you're interested in, you can find something in your heritage. And it's also a real focus. It's very visible, it's been here for a very long time, and people orient themselves around, oh, we're a bit to the south of this and we're a bit to the north of that. And I think that's true of an awful lot of heritage, that particularly in the built environment, in physical buildings, people use those places as cornerstones to how they describe their community. I was very lucky. I was born and brought up in a small village in Cornwall, which has been there forever. My father's family had lived in the village for several hundred years, working the land and being blacksmiths and things like that. And so I just grew up with a very historic environment, with a lot of people who knew generations of my family. I was born in a cob house, which is a West Country form of building. I went to school in a little Victorian primary school where everybody that I knew went to school, and so it's always been there, it's always been important to me. And when I moved to London as an adult to work, it was different obviously, but actually you can't live in London, even in the developing parts in Canary Wharf and so on. You can't be in London without seeing the history all around you. So I guess it's always been there to me, and it's always been something that gave me a sense of place and a sense of belonging. Very often there is an assumption that an old building, a historic building, part of our heritage is going to be difficult, and it's going to be expensive, and it's going to be hard work. And there isn't so much thought about how wonderful it's going to be, what the added value of using it is going to be, how opening it up and re-energising it is going to give a community hope and excitement for the future. And we know from a whole range of projects that if we take a scheme in a small market town, for example, where perhaps the shops have become empty, they've been boarded up, the flats over them are empty, start to put some heart and hope back into those buildings and those dwellings, and people start to feel proud about their community again. They start to see the point. They start to want to tell their friends and colleagues what they have on their doorstep. They want to invite their family to come and see the place they live. And that can't really be underestimated, I don't think. It's an incredibly powerful tool for bringing communities together, and it's not something that we should lose.